Good day everyone! Ang discussion natin ngayon ay tungkol sa how to graph a polynomial function. Now, to sketch the graph of a polynomial function, we need to consider the following. Number 1, the degree of the polynomial or n. N is the highest degree or the largest exponent in the given polynomial. The degree of the polynomial will dictate the number of turning points of the graph. What are the turning points? The turning points are points where the graph changes in direction, from an upward direction to a downward direction or vice versa. The number of turning points of each polynomial function is at most n minus 1. So let us consider this polynomial function. P of x equals x minus 1 squared times x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 3. So, ang given na polynomial function ay naka-factored form. So, paano natin kukunin ang degree? So, mag-focus tayo sa x. So, in this case, x minus 1, dahil naka-square siya, we need to multiply x by itself 2 times. So, x times x is x squared, times x is x cubed, times x is x raised to 4, times x is x raised to 5. So, kung ano yung exponent natin, that would be the degree and it is equal to 5. Now, let us determine the number of turning points. So, meron tayo dito at most n minus 1. So, consider natin yung n minus 1. Since n, which is the degree, substitute lang natin 5 minus 1. And 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. So, ang number of turning points is at most 4. Another thing, the degree of the polynomial also dictates whether both ends of the graph go up or down, or whether the ends go in different directions. So, para malaman natin kung saan yung direction ng graph, kailangan din nating alamin muna si leading coefficient or a sub n. The sign of the leading coefficient determines the end behavior of the graph of the polynomial function. It dictates which end of the graph goes up and which end goes down. So, i-summarize natin. Ano ba ang connection or relationship ng degree ng polynomial at ang leading coefficient? So, meron ako dito na a sub n is positive, a sub n is the leading coefficient, and meron din tayong a sub n is negative. And then, meron ako dito na n is even, n is the degree of the polynomial, and the other one is n is odd. Pag sinabi natin na even, ibig sabihin divisible by 2. Pag sinabi natin na odd, so hindi siya divisible by 2. Ano ang itsura ng graph kapag n is even or the exponent is even and the leading coefficient is positive? Okay, so ano ang behavior ng graphs? The end behaviors are rises to the left. So, tingnan niyo yung arrowhead, pataas siya dun sa left side. So, rises to the left and then rises to the right. So, pataas naman sa kanan. Okay, what if n is even and a sub n is negative? So, the degree is even at ang a sub n or the leading coefficient is negative. So, ganito naman ang itsura ng graph. So, let us give the end behavior. So, kita-kita naman sa graph, it falls to the left and falls to the right. Next is, if n is odd, so yung degree ng polynomial ay hindi divisible by 2, pero si leading coefficient ay positive, so ganito ang itsura ng graph niya. Okay, so bigyan natin ang end behaviors. Kitang-kita naman sa graph, so it falls to the left and rises to the right. Next is, n is odd and a sub n is negative. So, ito naman ang itsura ng graph. So, the end behaviors are rises to the left and falls to the right. So, importante na alam natin ang degree ng polynomial at ang leading coefficient para magkaroon tayo ng idea kung ano ang magiging itsura ng graph ng polynomial. So, let's have the same example na polynomial function kanina. Since the degree is 5, and the number of turning points is at most 4, and the leading coefficient is positive. Paano natin nalaman na positive? So, kunin lang natin yung mga coefficients ng variable x. So, we have 1, naka-square siya. So, 1 times 1, times positive 1, times positive 1, times positive 1. Actually, ang sign lang naman na kailangan natin makuha dyan, and that is positive. So, saan tayo magpo-fall dyan? The degree is 5 and is odd since 5 is not divisible by 2. Next, the leading coefficient is positive. So, a sub n is positive. So, dapat ganito ang itsura ng graph niya. So, it means, ang graph niya ay, okay, so ganito itsura ng graph. So, paano natin malalaman kung tama? Kunin natin yung number of turning points para ma-idea din tayo kung ilang liko meron yung graph. Sabi ay 4. So, tingnan natin. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, the end behaviors of the graph falls to the left and rises to the right. Number 3, we need to consider also the x-intercepts. So, ano nga ba ang x-intercepts? The x-intercepts refer the values of x when y equals 0. The x-intercepts also refer to the solutions or zeros of the polynomial function. So, kung naaalala nyo sa ating previous videos, nagbigay na tayo ng mga paraan how to find the x-intercept or the zeros of the polynomial function. So, balikan na lang natin yung ating videos. Next, the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis or where the graph is tangent to the x-axis. So, ibig sabihin, pag nakuha na natin si x-intercept, ito naman, dito daw dadaan yung graph. It can be cross or magkakross siya dun sa point na yun or tangent lang siya sa x-axis. Whether the graph crosses or is tangent to the x-axis depends on the multiplicity of the solution. If the multiplicity of the solution is odd, then the graph crosses the x-axis. And if the multiplicity of the solution is even, the graph is tangent to the x-axis. So, tingnan ulit na yung ating sample na polynomial function. Analyze natin. The x-intercepts or zeros are, so dito muna tayo sa x minus 1 squared. Actually, madali ito kasi factored form na. So, isa-solve na lang natin yung mga values ng x. So, if you have x minus 1, so the value of x is 1. Bakit may word na multiplicity 2? It is because the exponent 2. Ibig sabihin yan, dalawang beses yung 1. Next, so kung x plus 2 naman, ang 0 natin dyan, or x-intercept is negative 2. If x minus 2, we have positive 2 and positive 3. So, we have the x-intercepts 1, multiplicity 2, negative 2, positive 2, and positive 3. So, what does it mean? The graph crosses the x-axis at points negative 2, 0, positive 2, 0, and 3, 0. And tangent to the x-axis at point 1, 0. So, bakit siya naging tangent? Tingnan nyo yung multiplicity natin. It is 2. So, sabi kanina, if the multiplicity of the solution is even, since 2 is even, the graph is tangent to the x-axis. So, tangent yung ating graph at point 1, 0 dahil sa multiplicity 2. Lastly, kailangan din natin i-consider si y-intercept. Ano ba si y-intercept? It refers to the value of y when x is equals to 0. Knowing the y-intercept will give us an idea where the graph will intersect the y-axis. So, balikan natin yung polynomial function na given kanina. So, alamin natin ang y-intercept. Kung naalala nyo kanina, si x-intercept, yun yung mga values ng x. Si y-intercept naman, kukunin natin yung mga constant number. So, multiply lang natin yan. So, dito, negative 1, kung kasama natin yung sign niya. So, negative 1, pero dahil naka-square siya, so multiply natin sa sarili niya. So, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Then, multiply natin dito sa positive 2. So, we have positive 2. Multiply ulit natin sa negative 2. So, it is negative 4 times negative 3. So, we have positive 12. And y-intercept is equals to positive 12. So, ano ang ibig sabihin nito? The graph crosses the y-axis at point 0, 12. So, let us now graph the polynomial function, yung given din natin kanina. So, p of x is equals to x minus 1 squared times x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 3. And, ito yung ginawa natin kanina. So, kailangan meron tayong guide. We have the degree, 5. The number of turning points is at most 4. The leading coefficient is 1, positive. The end behaviors are false to the left, rises to the right. The x-intercepts are 1, multiplicity 2, negative 2, positive 2, and positive 3. And y-intercept is positive 12. At ang itsura ng graph natin, it must be like this one. So, maglagay tayo ng Cartesian plane dito. And then, ang una nating ipa-plot ay si x-intercepts. Sabi natin, ang x-intercept, yun yung mga points sa x-axis kung saan dadaan yung graph. So, unahin natin yung positive 1. Ito siya. So, lagyan natin ng point. Yung multiplicity 2, no need na nating i-point ulit si positive 1 kasi once mo lang naman makikita si positive 1 dun sa Cartesian plane. Next, negative 2. So, negative 2, nandito siya. Lagyan natin ng point. And then, positive 2. And then, positive 3. So, nandito yung point. And then, after natin i-graph ang mga x-intercept, i-plot naman natin yung y-intercept which is positive 12. So, ibig sabihin sa y-axis, nandito siya sa upper part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so nandito yung point. Okay, so we are done na. Almost done. We are almost done. So, ang gagawin na lang natin is to connect the points. So, since meron tayong end behaviors na falls to the left and rises to the right, so mag-i-start tayo sa baba kasi falls to the left and rises to the right. Okay, so this is now the graph of the given function. So, let us analyze. It falls to the left. So, mula dito, dumaan siya ng negative 2. And then, akyat tayo. Nag-cross siya sa y-axis at point 0, 12. So, ito yung point na yon. Bumaba tayo sa positive 1. Pero hindi siya nag-cross. Tangent siya sa positive 1. Kasi yun yung definition natin kanina or description natin kanina. So, after niya sa positive 1, hindi na siya lalagpas ng x-axis. Instead, aangat na siya agad. And then, punta naman sa positive 2. Dahil magko-cross, so lalagpas tayo ng x-axis. And then, crosses again at point 3, 0. And, that's it. So, ito na yung ating graph. Thank you for listening.